Morning to all of you. Welcome to your TSN English class. Today we'll be starting chapter 3 Deep Water from your book Flamingo class 12th. And before starting with this chapter Deep Water, I would like to tell you about the previous paragraphs we have read in our fourth video. That is, Douglas was determined to get over his fear of water because he was not able to enjoy that canoeing, boating, fishing, swimming due to his fear. And what happens up next? Now let's read here. So today we'll be starting our paragraph from here with this. Bass fishing in New Hampshire, trout fishing on the Dutchess, and Metellus in Oregon, fishing for salmon on the Columbia, at Bumping Lake in the Cascades. Wherever I went, the haunting fear of water followed me. It ruined my fishing trips, deprived me of joy of canoeing, boating, and swimming. So, as I have told you that here William Douglas or William Orell Douglas. So Douglas determined that to get over his fear of water because he was not able to enjoy all these things like canoeing, boating, and fishing. So or to for overcome that fear, he used to like deprived himself what is going on or there or not. So he's doing these things like that. So let's read. I used every way I knew to overcome this fear, but it held me firmly in its grip. Finally, one October, I decided to get an instructor and learn to swim. I went to a pool and practiced 5 days a week, an hour each day. The instructor put a belt around me, a rope attached to the belt went through a pulley that ran and ran on an overhead cable. He had held on at the end of the rope, and we went back to the end of the rope, and we went back and forth and back and forth across the pool, hour after hour, day after day, week after week. On each trip across the pool, in a bit of panic seized me. Each time the instructor hold on the relaxed his hold on the rope and I went under. Some of the old terror returned and my legs froze. It was 3 months before tension began to slack. Then he taught me to put my face under water and exhale and to raise my nose and inhale. I repeated the exercise hundreds of times. Bit by bit, I shed part of the panic that seized me when my head went under water. So, basically, in this paragraph, I used every way I knew to overcome this fear. So, there are two kind of people in the world. Those who are afraid of something, they don't want to overcome with their fear because they think that due to their whatever the reason is there, they don't want to overcome the fear. And the other persons or the other people are like they want to overcome their fear by anyhow. दे थिंक दैट कि कब तक इस फियर के साथ में इंसान जो है वो जिएगा. दैट इज़ वाई दे ट्राई टू ओवरकम फॉर दैट फियर. एंड आर ऑथर ऑफ द चैप्टर और द नैरेटर ही सिमिलरली लाइक दैट he wants to overcome his fear, but it held me firmly in its grip. So he is mentioning here that that fear held him. मतलब उस fear से वो इतना जकड़ा हुआ था. Firmly in its grip means वो इतना जकड़ा हुआ था that he's not able to cope up with that. Finally, one October, I decided to get an instructor and learn to swim. And finally, on one day of October, he was determined at that time and he thinks that कि एक इंस्ट्रक्टर के पास जाना चाहिए. एंड उसने स्विमिंग करना वापस से लर्निंग प्रोसेस में आया दैट आई वांट टू लर्न टू स्विम. सो आई वेंट टू अ पूल एंड प्रैक्टिस 5 days a week एन आवर ईच डे. सो वो डेली पूल के पास जाता और 5 days a week. दैट मीन्स सैटरडे और संडेज वो ऑफ 2 day और वीक ऑफ रखता था और हर दिन वो 1 घंटे प्रैक्टिस करता था. द इंस्ट्रक्टर पुट अ बेल्ट अराउंड मी, अ रोप अटैच टू द बेल्ट वेन थ्रू अ पुली दैट रैन ऑन द ओवरहेड केबल. सो इंस्ट्रक्टर क्या करता था, उसके आसपास कुछ बेल्ट्स वगैरह उसके बांध के रखता था फॉर द सेफ्टी पर्पज. ही हेल्ड ऑन द एंड ऑफ द रोप एंड वी वेंट बैक एंड फोर्थ. बैक एंड फोर्थ अक्रॉस द पूल। और इस तरह से वो डेली पूल के अंदर जाना आना इस तरह प्रैक्टिस करते थे, आवर आफ्टर आवर, डे आफ्टर डे, वीक आफ्टर वीक। इस तरह घंटे बीतते गए, दिन बीतते गए और वीक्स गुजर गए। वन ईच ट्रिप अक्रॉस द पूल, a bit of the panic seized me. So इस तरह जो पैनिक है हर बार उसे सीज कर लेता था. Each time the instructor relaxed his old hold on the rope and I went under, and every time the instructor the just hold that rope and he went under the water, the narrator of our story. Some of the old terror returned. And what happens while doing practicing or while doing all these things, that old terror, that old thing kept his in his mind, or that fear of his earlier fear of his childhood, that childhood fear again comes in his mind and he won't practice that much. So and I went under, some of the old terror returned and my legs froze, and due to that he is not able to move properly, or his legs are not able to move properly in the water. It was 3 months before the tension began to slack, और ऐसा 3 महीने पहले हुआ था. Then he taught me to put my face under water and exhale, and then after that the instructor taught him how to keep your face under water, inhales and exhales. So those exercises which help him to cover up this thing. So I repeated the exercise hundreds of times, bit by bit I shed part of my panic. And here narrator is explaining that he practiced so much. So here hundreds of time means उसने इतना practice किया that after some time he can that panic part of his, or that fear of his life, he that is shedded. So that seized me when my head went underwater. But जब भी वो अपना सर पानी के अंदर डालता था तो that fear seized him again. Next he held me at the side of the pool and had me kick with my legs. For few weeks I did just that. At first my legs refused to work, but they gradually relaxed and finally I could command them. So next he held me at the side of the pool. So next session of his practice is like that कि side pool के side में वो बैठा रहता था and had me kick with my legs. So for weeks I did just that. So this is a kind of a swimming practice. और कुछ हफ्तों तक उसने ये करी. At first my legs refused to work, and in the beginning उसके legs ने work करना बंद कर दिया, but they gradually relaxed and finally I could command them. और धीरे धीरे उसको relax feel होने लगा और वो उनको command करने लगा. Thus piece by piece he built a swimmer, and when he had performed each piece he put them together into an off and swim the length of the pool, crawl, stroke. And after that, or that step by step, your piece by piece means step by step, he built a swimmer. So वो जो ट्रेनर है उसने एक तरीके का स्विमर रेडी किया. एंड आफ्टर ही हैड परफेक्टेड ईच पीस, जब वो हर एक स्टेप में हर मूव में परफेक्ट हो गया, ही पुट देम टुगेदर इनटू एन इंटीग्रेटेड होल. सो उसने क्या करा, वो एक इन एन इंटीग्रेटेड होल. इन अप्रैल ही सेड नाउ यू कैन स्विम, डाइव ऑफ एंड स्विम द लेंथ ऑफ द पूल, crawl, stroke. And after that in the month of April, he told him to swim and you can crawl the length of the pool. I did. The instructor was finished, but I was not finished. I still wondered if I would be terror stricken when I was alone in the pool. I tried it. I swim the length up and down. Tiny vestige of my old terror would return, but now I could frown and say to that terror trying to scare me, well, here you look, and off I do for another length of the pool. So here narrator is trying to explain that after doing all these efforts, or after practicing so much, he is able to swim in that pool. And what was there that I did, instructor was finished. So here is like a step by step practicing after that. So he still it's like a racing stroke in which swimming pool lie flat on the water with face or like submerged thing. So he tried a lot, but his terror striken again and again. And he said that I tried and swam the length up and down. So he tried a lot and he tried to cover up the whole pool from the length up and down, and tiny vestiges. So here vestiges is a kind of, you can say, remnant or सो ऑफ दैट ओल्ड टेरर वुड रिटर्न, बट स्टिल अभी भी कहीं ना कहीं थोड़ा बहुत वो टेरर उसके माइंड में था. बट नाउ आई कुड फ्रॉन एंड से टू दैट terror, but now he can say to that terror, like, to show that you are angry. Frown is kind of a that thing, trying to scare me as well. Here's to you. और जब भी अब उसका टेरर उसे या उसका फियर उसे डराने लगता, तो ही जस्ट एक्सप्लेन दैट कि अब मुझे डरा कर बताओ, here's to you, look and off I do go for another length of the pool. So for overcoming his fear, narrator is just he is like in that situation where he can speak of, like, अब मुझे डर से कोई डर नहीं है. नाउ आई एम अ ट्रेन्ड पर्सन एंड आई कैन स्विम वेल. So student will be continuing the next part of our video, that is like your sixth video. Till then, stay safe.